All right. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining today's webinar to talk through ZoomInfo's global data capabilities. Now, before we dive in today, I'd like to make everyone aware that this is a recorded webinar, so it's being monitored by our global data team. You can feel free to utilize that chat function throughout this webinar, and our team will be answering in the background all the questions that you have via chat. And certainly, if you have any deeper questions, please feel free to reach out to your account manager, your CSM that's assigned to your account for more information. So let's dive in. What can you expect to learn about in the next 30 minutes? Well, we're going to take you behind the scenes to look at how ZoomInfo acquires its data, how we monitor and make sure that it's the best global data that we're putting into the marketplace. And then we're going to give you an update in terms of our global data roadmap, the progress that we've made over the past 3 quarters, and where we're headed. So joining me today on this webinar is Eric Hawkinson. Eric is the Principal Product Manager for International Data. Eric, say hi to everyone online.
Hello, everyone. Look forward to speaking with you today. Jacques, great to be here. Thanks.
Awesome. And I'm the Product Marketing Manager associated with our International Data. So let's dive in. But before we do, ZoomInfo is a publicly traded company. This presentation may contain forward-looking statements. Any buying decisions that you make should be based purely off currently available products and offerings. This is our complete safe harbor statement for those that want to dive into the details. So let's take a look at our global data overview. So we're going to start today's session with an overview of how ZoomInfo approaches our global data within the context of our ZoomInfo data cloud. So at the core of our RevOS system is best-in-class sales and marketing intelligence. It's a foundation of accurate, deep, broad company and professional contact data. And on top of that data, we're layering in actionable insights. And that includes things like buyer intent data, event data, technographic data, locations, and much more. Now, on top of that layer, we're actually putting an orchestration layer, and that consists of things like your data quality management, workflows, integration software that enables your go-to-market and operations teams to cleanse and enrich their CRM or their cloud data warehouse. And that enables automated enablement and engagement workflows that are triggered by those actionable insights. Now, the third and final layer of the RevOS platform, this is our engagement layer. So this is used by sales and marketing and recruiting teams to really streamline outreach to prospects and customers. It's software for email, for dialing, sales flows. It's conversation intelligence like Chorus and pipeline forecasting tools. All of these things are helping to onboard, upskill reps, and automate more of your go-to-market processes versus having humans doing everything themselves. So let's dig a bit deeper in terms of what we mean when we talk about data, right? What makes our data unique? If you're other leaders that we talk to in the sales and marketing space, you're prioritizing your accounts based off of company size or location, and that's really what we call at ZoomInfo foundational data. It includes business relevant demographic and firmographic data, and that allows you to assess a particular fit that a company or a contact might have that you want to get in contact with. Now, what foundational data is not going to tell you is whether that contact or that company is ready to act or buy your service. Wouldn't it be much more powerful if you could instead prioritize your accounts based on their propensity to buy? And that's where our dynamic signals come in at ZoomInfo. You can think of these as contextual or behavioral, event-based actions that are taken by your target accounts or your contacts. And many vendors are only going to provide you with one or the other, but the key to actionable data is really the combination of the two. So knowing your company's industry, your location, revenue, tech stack, all of that is really great to determine whether it's a good fit. However, knowing that they just hired a new CTO or CMO and they're looking to fill a business opportunity or they just received a new round of funding, that is going to give your team the confidence to know that it's the right time to approach a particular prospect. So if you layer in relevant behavioral triggers from your target buyers, such as form fills or website views or buyer intent signals from across the web, that's really where you're going to strike gold, because we know that accounts that are showing interest in something are 25% more likely to engage with your products and your services. Now, let's focus in on our global data and how we acquire it. And this is the reason that our data is more robust and rich than any other vendor out there. It really starts with a 5-step data collection and processing system that we call Fusion. So Fusion is our data engine, and it transforms raw insights into that actionable data that we talked about before. Unlike other vendors, ZoomInfo is actually sourcing data from the widest set of possible sources, where we're both actively and passively gathering data. So that means from a proactive perspective, we're looking at our contributory network. It's a combination of community members and customer provided data, very high quality, but comes in at a lower volume. And that's why we layer in insights that come from indexing publicly available information all across the web. So while we know that others are doing this today, the difference from a ZoomInfo perspective is that we're putting about $60 million every single year in our data, in our systems, to employ a world-class team of scientists and data researchers to build and train our AI algorithms. Now, finally, we're going to work with third-party data providers. We'll work with specialized partners that have nuanced capabilities, whether it's address validation or another vendor that specializes in classifying office lines versus mobile numbers. We leverage these partners because they've built really narrow and deep expertise in certain data types to bring you the most accurate data. So we talked about the big 3 data of how we source, but we also come across data that's hard to come by or missing from those above sources. And that's why we actually employ 2 active strategies to get our new data. We have a team of 400 researchers that are proactively gathering and verifying insights. And we also use Gapminder technology that uses smart querying to proactively fill those gaps in our contact and our company profiles to ensure that they're complete. So between all these sources, we're gathering over 1.5 billion data points every single day. And while other providers are going to publish everything they find, we at ZoomInfo, we know that relevant, timely data points are more than the sum of their parts. So another database that provides you with 12 possible email addresses for the CEO of Barclays is not just going to be unusable, but it's going to cost your business by wasting prospecting efforts, risking your email reputation, or misjudging your market potential through misleading TAM capabilities or calculations. So that's why data compliance and security sits at the core of our data engine. Accuracy is a tenet to our data collection laws like GDPR, and only accurate data is going to allow you to serve the required collection notices to the contacts in your system alone. So let's dive a little bit deeper now into what makes ZoomInfo unique in terms of our traceability that we put into our data engine. And this is on the screen. What you see is our traceability UI. This is a tool that our research team uses to keep detailed records for every single company and professional in our database. For example, on the right-hand side, you can see the last time that we verified someone's email address, how many different data sources we've used to create this profile. And what we know from data is that it's the sum of all parts, right? So building deep verified profiles like this at scale is impossible without deep AI and machine learning supporting the process. And it simply isn't something that another competitor can do. Bigger is just better in this instance. And at ZoomInfo, we're giving you a sustainable operation where we can show the traceability and the lineage of every single one of our data points. We know how we acquired it. We know where it came from the last time that it was updated. And that sets us apart in the marketplace. All right, one final layer deeper. This is a look behind the scenes of what data actually ends up in the database that all of you are interacting with every day. Because of our rigorous 5-step data quality assurance program, we are not publishing everything that we have on file today at ZoomInfo. We all know the saying, garbage in is garbage out, and that's exactly what many vendors in this space are doing. They're scraping the internet and tossing everything in there for you to find and leave through and sort through the mess. Our data is much more like an iceberg at ZoomInfo. The amount of data we don't publish is really a testament to our focus on data quality, compliance, but also we know that data is not stagnant. And for go-to-market teams like yourself to be successful, you need the freshest data at your fingertips because changes can happen at any given point, and our proprietary engine is ready to monitor the business landscape to ensure that we're adding, adjusting, and removing data points as necessary. So the highlights here is really that as a company, we analyzed 480 million professional profiles and 1 billion company records. And we determined that 220 professional profiles and 100 million company profiles are really going to add the most value to your teams. It's the data that is clean, accurate, sustainable, and traceable for the goals that you have for your team. Coverage and quality, they go hand in hand. So we really appreciate the foundation of our discussion with customers is they're trusting us providing them with long-term sustainable value for their business. So that was a look behind the scenes of all the ways that we source and improve our data at ZoomInfo. I'm going to turn it over to Eric now to walk us through our international data roadmap and specifically all the improvements that we're making for non-US contacts over the past 3 quarters. Eric, take it away.
Awesome, Jacques. Thank you so much. I never get tired of hearing about the alignment of people, process, and technology together to make sure that we are building a data engine that provides quality information, quality insights that are compliant and set to scale. The first half of 22 was a particularly fruitful period of time for ZoomInfo International Data. As an organization, we crossed the threshold of 200 million published contact profiles back in April. By the end of the third quarter, we crossed the 240 million contacts published available to our RevOS customers at the end of September. A couple key points stand out to me here most of all. First and foremost, what is our daily velocity? That's the number of contacts that we are bringing online to our customers, not the total gross number. We're talking about net of privacy compliance and meeting our quality threshold. And in fact, so far this year, we've averaged about 217,000 net new contact profiles every day. Please feel free to compare that volume every day to the total number of contact profiles in your CRM. Having that volume, that coverage will give us the opportunity to make sure that we are providing a scalable and effective solution for the entirety of the customer segments, market segments, and ideal customer profiles for you to achieve your number. Now, within that volume of addition every day, you will see that nearly 3/4 of what we have added to ZoomInfo Data Cloud so far this year are actually contact profiles outside of the United States. Of course, ZoomInfo continues to invest in acquiring and refining our data for US-based customers, but this has been a long-term sustainable commitment to investing in non-US data. And within that, we will remain primarily focused on acquiring SMB and mid-market data for both companies and contacts at a rate that is equivalent, if not greater than the rate of enterprise data. Because again, it's important that we offer equivalent service in data coverage for all of those markets. Now, where does that bring us? That brings us to just shy of 100 million company profiles in our total data set. That brings us to about 244 million contact profiles. And every day we are working to increase the fill rates of business emails, supplemental emails, LinkedIn profiles, direct phones, and mobile phones to make sure that as a customer base, you can act on the information we are providing to meet your number. Let's take a step forward, Jacques, into the detail of company growth. And here's a quick snapshot. Year to date through the end of September, international company profile growth, excluding North America, we can see a really big increase in those geographic segments in late July. That has to do with a strategically critical initiative for us, the result of an acquisition of both company profiling technology and also company data came online, and that was a huge improvement to our organization and the product and service that we offer. You may hear team members, your customer service or account management team refer to that as Company 2.0 is online for us. That has an incredible impact in two ways. First, making those company profiles available to our customers to consume and plan your go-to-market strategy. That data is also used by internal ZoomInfo teams to acquire and publish more contact profiles at a faster rate. We go out of our way to make sure that we are never publishing new contact profiles without a company match. Having more companies allows us to move faster and with higher quality, acquiring new contact profiles. So let's talk about new contact profiles on the next slide, where we can see that, again, non-US, non-North America contact data growth has increased year to date by about 56 million. That's a 30% increase year to date. And we can see our relevant corresponding stats of business email, LinkedIn, phones, supplementary email. Every single day, we are working to make sure that we are checking the accuracy of those attributes and also increasing the likelihood that our customers have access to those data points that will help you get in contact with the contact profiles so that you can execute your strategy. Taking a step forward, it's worth calling out a very basic heat map of where our data is located in the world. Yes, of course, we started the conversation at the beginning of the year with the bulk of our data in the US, but please note, you can see by the darker shaded colors that Canada, the United Kingdom and Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Scandinavia, Western Europe, Central and Northern Europe, all critical priorities for us, where we are acquiring data and bringing it to market as fast as we can, of course, in a way that maintains quality and is compliant. Thanks for the chance to speak to you today. Jacques, back to you.
All right, folks. Well, we hope this session was useful as you got kind of a behind the scenes look at how we approach our data acquisition, our data improvements in terms of updating and enriching our contacts and company profiles within the platform, and also just our commitment to sustainable growth of our global platform in key markets and regions. So I have 3 favors to ask for the folks on the line. The first would be, if you have any questions, please feel free now. It is a great time to throw those in the Q&A. Eric and I will be behind the scenes answering those questions for you today. And then the second thing is, if there are key regions or markets that you're particularly interested to get more understanding of the growth that ZoomInfo has, or where our capabilities are going, where we're stronger from a mobile perspective or email perspective, please reach out to your account manager, your customer support manager. They'll be able to get into the detail and share those details with you to make sure that we are all committed to the same level of growth in the key areas. The third favor is, at ZoomInfo, we only get better through customer feedback. So if you do have feedback on data coverage or accuracy, please, again, leverage your account manager, your customer support manager, to bring in experts like Eric and myself to talk about use cases for your particular searching. We only get better with understanding how our customers are using the platform, and we want to make the most out of our time with our customers. So with that, we'll end the webinar, and thank you all for joining. Eric, thank you for being here, and we look forward to many more sessions in the future. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jacques. Thanks, team.